Hi, I'm Tony Morbin, Editor-in-Chief at SC Magazine. Today we're in Edinburgh at the National Museum of Scotland for our roundtable on financial insider threats. We're delighted to be joined today by a range of cybersecurity professionals from across Scotland. So Matt, what were the main themes for the event today for you?
Financial services clearly have a huge insider threat challenge currently and ahead of them. And we were talking about how they deal both with malicious insiders and accidental insiders. But the key for me that came out of today's discussion was really around buy-in from employees and from the organisation to an insider threat programme and how to achieve that buy-in.
This morning we talked a lot about trust and how far you go in actually engaging your own workforce in terms of that culture, that understanding that there needs to be protection around them as well as the customer and of course the company assets. And the second thing is the best way to implement those controls, how to make this work and how much more we need to share the information that we have.
What we have here today, a meeting of minds from the public, private, you have the third or academic sector, who together fuse their thinking together with operational experience towards a common goal. And the common goal here is insider threat. And important for me is that underpinning all of this is trust. And if we can trust one another to exchange information within a secure environment, we will be better informed than we were yesterday.
I think it was great to see lots of different viewpoints from a whole cross-section of industry, and I think it was really interesting to see that the challenges are pretty much the same across the board. We're all looking at the same people trying to influence our people, and therefore the same tools and challenges that we can all work together to resolve and improve as we go.
For me, it was around the communication and how you manage that with your internal people and your external customers and everyone else, and not just what you're talking about, but how you talk about it. Bringing people in as a community rather than as stakeholders or some kind of paternalistic setup.
Main themes that came out today were that the insider threat is, like a lot of other information security threats, something that can be dealt with existing controls, processes, policies, people, and so on and so forth. But there's a great element required with regards to training and communication to make sure that employees feel part of the security culture and make sure that that culture is led from the very top.
Insider threat, certainly from my opinion, shouldn't be considered as a separate item. It's a part of cybersecurity, it's part of general information security. So I think separating out, possibly less relevant, but it's part of the threat that we all face from cyber. Information sharing lets us be more aware of it. So whether it's in your own organisation sharing well, or the thing that I'm very, very much in favour of is sharing across, certainly in Scotland, across financial services, across public sector, anything in the private sector, and can we share better with professional organisations and anywhere south of the border? Because I think we don't necessarily do that as well as we should yet either.
I thought it was interesting just hearing different perspectives on how cybersecurity is viewed at board level and the respective risks that organisations face and their approaches to dealing with that.
And the risk in relation to trust, I mean, that sounded quite interesting. I mean, comparing monitoring your staff plus trusting them.
Yeah, that's always a challenge, and it's one of the reasons why I think cybersecurity initiatives in organisations really should be led by HR, because it's a workforce development dimension, really, both on training and on awareness raising.
Communication is a tough one. I think it was Bill who was saying that we don't really have this common lexicon or language for talking about it yet to articulate risk very well. We all say the same words, but they mean slightly different things when we say them. So we need to think about, as a group, how can we start talking about this a bit better? How can we start quantifying risks a bit clearer to boards, to the man on the street, to everyone who's involved?
So there's some interesting perspective here around it not being driven by IT. So IT are probably very technically focused, but they're the wrong people to get other people within the organisation to buy in. So there was conversation about a programme being led, for example, by the HR department, and that being the best way to manage the risk, but in a people and employee-centred way. Get understanding out there, help people to understand why the controls are in place, why the monitoring and other techniques and tools are being used, and really focus it from there out, rather than a technology-led programme.
There's a really vibrant culture here in Edinburgh on cybersecurity and a really willingness to take part in solving some of the challenges.